Tonight our theme is freedom. I know we have a lot of problems in this country, but one of the things I thank God for is that we still have our freedoms. In fact, my love for our country's freedom is what drove me to join the military back when I was just out of college. For 7 years I flew a KC-135, the air refueling airplanes. In fact, my last base was just up the road in Grand Forks back in the mid-90s. I wanted to do my part to defend our country's freedom, but you have to understand that my love for freedom happened long before that, when my own freedom was taken away from me. I spent time in solitary confinement. My mom said I was just being grounded. But for me, I had an overactive imagination. I thought it was solitary confinement. It was a Saturday morning, and my mom asked me to vacuum the carpet. I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. So I'm in the living room and I'm vacuuming the carpet, and I felt like I was wasting my time because I couldn't see much happening. It wasn't like we had a lot of paper or dirt on the floor, so I was vacuuming, but I couldn't see anything happening. So I had a great idea. I went into the kitchen, I grabbed a whole loaf of bread, and I brought it into the living room, and I ripped it up into hundreds of pieces and sprinkled it all over the carpet, and then I started vacuuming up the bread. And I thought this was a great idea because I could see the part of the carpet that was vacuumed, and I could see the part that wasn't vacuumed. It was a great idea. My mom was upstairs, and she smelled something kind of funny happening, so as she came downstairs and saw me making toast with her vacuum cleaner, she wasn't impressed, and she said, "David, what are you doing?" I'm from the East Coast, and we're Italian. My mom couldn't talk if she didn't use her hands. She's like, "David, what are you doing?" And she said, "Go to your room, you're grounded." And I remember yelling, "I hate you." Now, I didn't hate my mom, but I hated being locked up. I mean, I must have been in that room for 5 minutes, and I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out. I couldn't go down the stairs because my mom would see me. There was only one way out of my prison, my room, and that was the window. Now, back in the day, back when I was younger, I had one of those G.I. Joe action figures with the parachute. You know, you throw G.I. Joe up and then he floats down. G.I. Joe was my inspiration that day. I didn't have a parachute, but in my bedroom I had the next best thing. I had bed sheets, of course I did. So I went and I grabbed the top sheet off my bed and I said, I was made to be free. I can't be locked up like this. I opened the window and I looked out and I realized this is kind of high. Maybe I should do an experiment to make sure that this is going to work. So I snuck out into the hallway and I grabbed my mom's big potted plant. I brought it into my bedroom and I figured if the plant makes it down safely, I'm going next. And so I tied the top sheet of my bed to the plant and I threw it out the window. My bedroom growing up was right above the kitchen. My mom happened to be doing dishes when I was doing my science experiment. So when she saw her plant and my bedsheet just crashed to the ground, there were no aerodynamics going on that day. I never experienced freedom for the rest of that day. As I got older, I thought, well, I know, when I get my driver's license, then I'll be free. When I get my driver's license, I can go anywhere I want. Nothing but the open road ahead of me. Now, I don't know if you remember the day you got your driver's license, but I remember my driving license day. In fact, I remember the exact route that I had to take for my test in my hometown. It was one of the most significant days of my life. I mean, my wedding day was fantastic. The birth of my 3 children, wonderful. But the day I got my driver's license, that was freedom. And I loved it. And then it was a cold winter night one year. I grew up in Connecticut, and it's not as cold as Minnesota and North Dakota, but it's cold enough for roads to freeze. And I had a friend in my car. There was a little bit of an icy road, but no big deal. The car in front of me was going much too slow for the road conditions. So I went to pass that car, I slid on ice, and I totaled my brother's car in a ditch. And my driver's license didn't bring me the freedom I was looking for. As I got a little bit older, I thought, when I go to college, When I go to college, then I'll be free. When I go to college. Tonight, our theme is freedom. I know we have